The year is 2100. Students around the world open their digital history books, and they all stop at the same chapter, the AI revolution of 2025. From here, your great-grandparents' world suddenly changes. This is the year they realized they were no longer the only intelligent minds shaping the future of Earth. Welcome to TimeVault Stories. Today, we're not just traveling back in time. We're traveling forward to see how the people of 2100 will remember our present. In the history books of 2100, the time before 2025 has a simple name: the last analog decade. Of course, people had computers, smartphones, even early AI. But to the students of 2100, it all looks surprisingly slow. Historians describe early AI as narrow tools, calculators with a nice interface. They translated languages, recognized faces, recommended videos, but they didn't feel like thinking partners. Then, in the early 2020s, something changed. AI stopped being just a tool that obeyed instructions, and started looking like a mind that could generate ideas. The history books of 2100 call this turning point the generative breakthrough. Around 2022 and 2023, powerful language models and image generators exploded onto the internet. For the first time, ordinary people could type a sentence and get a full essay, describe a picture, and see it come to life. Ask for code, and watch a program appear on their screen. To the people of 2100, this feels obvious, even basic. But historians remind their students, at the time, this was shockingly new. History books describe 2025 as the year when generative AI stopped being a toy and started becoming a force. Governments, schools, companies, artists, no one could ignore it anymore. Let us open a 2100 history book to page 142. The title of this section is One Ordinary Day in 2025. 7 a.m. a student wakes up, opens their phone. They don't search the web anymore. They ask their AI assistant, explain quantum physics like I'm 12, and then help me write my homework. In 2100, students laugh at this example. For them, AI has been built into school from day one. But back in 2025, this felt like cheating, and teachers were panicking. 10 a.m. in a busy office, a manager talks to a chatbot that can summarize 50 emails in seconds, draft a contract, analyze last year's sales. Historians write that productivity spiked, but so did anxiety. Workers feared a question that appears in almost every 2100 textbook. Will AI take my job? In a tiny studio, an artist types a few words and watches a painting appear on the screen. Some call it magic. Others call it the death of art. History books from 2100 describe the mood of 2025 in one word: uneasy. People were amazed and terrified at the same time. Of course, the story of AI in 2025 isn't just about creativity and productivity. It's also about fear. Chapter 4 in the 2100 history books is titled, "The Year Truth Started to Blur." For the first time in history, anyone with an internet connection could create a fake speech by a real president, a fake video of a crime that never happened, a fake voice that sounded just like your own mother. Historians write, before AI, humans learned not to trust words on the internet. In 2025, they learned not to trust images, audio, or even video, while millions used AI to learn, work, and create. Millions more used it to manipulate, scam, and deceive. This is where history books of 2100 become very serious. They call 2025 the year humanity realized its tools could outrun its wisdom. So, how do historians explain humanity's response? On page 188, there's a section titled "The First AI Treaties." Around 2025, governments around the world started asking who is responsible when AI makes a mistake. Should there be licenses to build powerful models? How do we protect children, workers, elections? Early AI laws were confused and incomplete. Historians compare them to the first traffic rules from the early days of cars. Clumsy, imperfect, but better than nothing. At the same time, resistance movements grew. People took to the streets with signs that read, "Artists are not replaceable and humans over algorithms." They weren't fighting against technology itself. They were fighting for a future where technology served humanity, not the other way around. From the perspective of 2100, these protests were not an obstacle to progress. They were a crucial part of it. But the biggest question of all appears at the end of the chapter. A single, profound question that historians say defined the entire era. What does it mean to be human? In 2100, students study how people in 2025 grappled with this. They see how humans, for the first time, were forced to define what made them special. It wasn't about being the strongest, or the fastest, or even the smartest anymore. Historians in 2100 argue it was about something else: curiosity, empathy, creativity, and the ability to ask why. AI could provide answers, but only humans could provide the meaning. The history books of 2100 don't describe 2025 as the year humanity was replaced. They describe it as the year humanity was redefined. Looking back from the future, the AI revolution of 2025 wasn't an ending. It was a beginning. A messy, chaotic, and often scary beginning. But a beginning nonetheless. It was the moment our great-grandparents looked into a digital mirror and, instead of seeing their replacement, they began to see themselves more clearly than ever before. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through time, be sure to subscribe to TimeVault Stories. We'll see you in the next chapter.